In the 4th year, before the Common Era, the ancient world held its breath. Far to the east, in the shadow of forgotten empires, the Watchers saw it first. It was not a star of peace. It was a collision of cosmic powers. The old maps had warned of this moment for centuries. History was being written in fire and blood. The prophecy was clear. A new king would rise, and the old gods would fall. They gathered their steel and their secrets. Even the bravest warriors trembled at the sign in the sky. And so they began the journey into the heart of darkness.
But while the heavens spoke, Jerusalem was rotting from within. In the marble halls of Herod the Great, silence was a death sentence. The king was dying, consumed by a sickness that no physician could cure. He sat on a throne of lies, watching, waiting. His spies whispered of strangers from the east, of a new star. A rival? A usurper? The thought was a poison in his blood. In every shadow he saw an assassin. In every smile, a blade. He had killed his own wife, his own sons. What was the life of a peasant child to a man who murdered his own blood?
They did not come as beggars. They came as conquerors without an army. The Roman sentries watched with hands on their swords. These were the high priests of Parthia, the sworn enemies of Rome. All Jerusalem was troubled. The gates groaned open, not in welcome, but in fear. They rode into the holy city like shadows lengthening at sunset. Above them, the star stood still, a silent judgment upon the city. Two worlds collided in the narrow streets, steel against sorcery. Word reached the palace before their feet touched the ground.
The air in the throne room was cold and smelled of old blood. 3 strangers stood before the tyrant, unafraid. Herod smiled, a mask of sanity over a mind of madness. They asked the one question he feared most: where is the child who is born king? The scribes trembled as they searched the ancient scrolls. And there it was, written in the days of old, Bethlehem. Herod felt the crown slipping from his head. Go, he lied,
find him, so that I too may worship him." They left the palace, but they carried a shadow with them.
There was no room in the inns, no comfort for the weary. They found shelter in the earth, a cave for beasts. In the filth and the cold, the impossible happened. The King of the universe wrapped in rags. The star stopped. Its light pierced the darkness like a spear. The Magi found him, not in a palace, but in the dust. They bowed before a peasant child. Gold for a king, incense for a god, myrrh for a burial. But they brought a warning too. Herod knows.
Herod waited, but the Magi did not return. The tyrant realized he had been played. His rage was cold, calculated, absolute. Orders were given, kill them all. Every male child 2 years and under. The soldiers moved through Bethlehem like a plague. A voice was heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning. Rachel weeping for her children. And she would not be comforted, because they are no more. They fled into the night, refugees in a dangerous world. Behind them, the city burned with the rage of a dying king. The hunters searched the dunes, but the desert keeps its secrets. Herod died alone, consumed by his own worms. His kingdom crumbled, his crown rusted in the dust. But out of Egypt, a new chapter began. The star faded, its purpose fulfilled. The darkness had failed. For in the silence of the morning, the light of the world had survived.